It's always really wonderful to hear from a parent of a student that has come to TAFE to finish their VCE with us. Can you tell me a little bit about what made you and your daughter decide that TAFE was an option for them to do VCE?
Yeah, sure. Aleysha started normal high school, went through to year 10, and we just found that she didn't like the teacher-student relationship. She was more of an independent learner. And so I got to the point where she was very stressed, I was very stressed. It was just best to try and find an alternative for her to finish her VCE. So we looked at a couple of options and we went to the TAFE open information night, and we both walked out thinking, I think this is the right pathway for her. So it was a good decision in the end for her.
And when you went to that information session, what types of things, I guess, did you find out, or were you surprised to hear about our program that you might have not known?
I was surprised. I suppose it was more of a self-paced learning rather than a structured environment. So the kids are encouraged to sort of be a lot more independent in learning. So that was an adjustment for us, but best option for Aleysha it was. So yeah.
How did you find, I guess, the process of getting information for VCE, enrolling, and your interaction with our own staff in the VCE department?
Yeah, I Googled, I thought there has to be other options. So Google is your friend. We did look at another alternative, being a sports school, but I didn't want Aleysha just to walk out with just a certificate of a sporting thing. I wanted her to concentrate and have that VCE certificate, so that she could further her education if she wanted to, or go into, full-time work, which she's chosen to do this year. So yeah, I just found Google and then contacted Chisholm, and they sent out the information. And so we just turned up on the evening.
What do you think you've seen, some of the changes that you've seen in Aleysha as she's gone through the course?
Oh, look, it was night and day. Her at school, mainstream, she wouldn't get out of bed. We were constantly fighting. And then when she enrolled in TAFE for year 11, she realised it was her decision. And we walked